Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am finally back with another update. I know, broken record syndrome. I took a week off. I'm going to skip that Where Has Jessie Been segment. I'm probably never going to do that again. I just decided to take last week off. I was going to film on Wednesday last week, but it just didn't happen, and then I wasn't feeling it on Thursday, and blah, blah, blah. And then yesterday, I decided not to film because I've become a little bit obsessed with a certain project, and so it was either stop stitching and film or just keep going. So I did. I took the selfish route, but I'm filming today, and yeah. So I have like a world of things to talk about because I worked on approximately 18 projects. I always say that, approximately 18. I've worked on a ton of projects since I last saw you, and I have some stitchy kindness to go over. I have some plans for the rest of December, some purchases, and then I have some knitting stuff to talk about, which I'm so excited about. So yeah. As far as 2018 plans are concerned, I'm saving that for another video because I want to talk to you about my plans for stitching and knitting and books, and I don't want to cram that into this one. Planning isn't for everybody, so I might as well just separate that into a different category. Before I get into anything else, I want to take a second to talk about what I'm wearing knit-wise, because the question always comes up. So this is, shall we say, timing appropriate. This is the Starfighter slouch hat that I knit last year, and it is in Blue Moon Fiber Arts Marine Silk Worsted, which is 51% silk, 20% merino, 29% merino, 20% nylon. And so it's a really, really silky base. And it is in the Vader colorway. And so I thought that it was appropriate to knit this up. The ribbing here is supposed to be inspired by an X-Wing Starfighter. And so you can kind of see the body of the Starfighter here and then the X-Wings there. So anyway, I thought that it was appropriate since The Last Jedi comes out tomorrow. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing knit-wise. Decided to wear a knit hat today because it's cold. My lap is actually wrapped up in a very warm blanket, and got hand knits, so thought I'd share that. Let's get it going. I have my notes here, and so I keep referring to that, so bear with me. But the first thing I want to do is start off by talking about some stitchy kindness. So, you guys know that Drew from Weasley Studios, he invited me to participate in the first annual FlossTube Christmas swap, where we were tasked with stitching an ornament for our partner, whoever we ended up stitching for. And it wasn't really a partner situation, so who I stitched for didn't stitch for me. It was sort of like a round robin kind of a deal. So we all stitched for somebody, and then they stitched for somebody. You get it. And so the first thing I'm going to do is talk about what I received, and I got showered. I got really lucky with the person who stitched for me. This person went above and beyond. So let me move my notes over because I've got a pile of stuff over here. I got spoiled, y'all. So the first thing is the ornament that she stitched, and some of you are going to see this and you're going to recognize it because it was on her Instagram. And it is just spectacular. I took this off the tree so that I could show it to you today. I just love it. and this gorgeous, what is that called? Hanger, I guess? Anyway, gorgeous. So, and it's beaded, and there's some herringbone stitches, and so pretty. So my stitcher was Lori from Mischievous Stitches. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I have some of Lori's in my on my Christmas tree, so that's really cool. None of this is in any particular order that I had planned on. She sent some Hershey's peppermint bark, and Diddy and I are currently paying attention to what we eat, so we are saving this for Christmas. He loves some peppermint bark, so he will go to town on this the day that we decide to eat chocolate. The card was in this cute little envelope with all sorts of stickers, and there were stickers on the package itself. It was really cute. This part is for me. Some milk chocolate M&Ms. She sent some bead soup, which I think is just outrageous and fantastic. And it's just, how many grams is it? It says somewhere 30 grams of just a mess of different beads. We're getting a visitor. Mr. Thor! Say hi. Hi. Yeah. Snort. Oh, you just wake up? Yeah? Okay. You gonna sniff around? He's gonna sniff around. So, bead soup. Very cool. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with that. It's miscellaneous seed and bugle beads. So that's cool. And then the card, which is super gorgeous. Isn't that pretty? And a sweet little note in the inside. Love that. This is a really weird thing, but my husband appreciates this a whole lot. This is sugar cookie chapstick. He hates chapstick, and so if I put chapstick on, like, there is no, shall we say, kisses under the mistletoe if I have chapstick on. Unless it's this. He likes the sugar cookies. So, thanks for that, Lori. And then it all came in this gorgeous little gift bag that glitters up everything that it touches. So, cute little Santa. And one of Lori's fabric flowers that she made. So this, I think I'm also going to put on the tree because it's just so beautiful. Yeah. Like, spoiled rotten. I got 2 handmade things. Just the coolest. So, Lori, if you're watching, thank you so much. I appreciate it so very much. And I feel like the luckiest person for getting what I got because I got spoiled. So, although McKenna got the uterus, so that's pretty cool. And so now I can finally share what I stitched. So my partner was Drew from Weasley Studios, and so I could never show it because he would know what he was getting. And so whereas like everybody else that was participating in the swap where they could be like, this is what I'm stitching, but I'm not telling you who it's for, or I'm stitching a thing, but I can't show it because they might know who they are. My person knew who I was. So I could never show what I was stitching for them, and I couldn't mention it. So I stitched 2 ornaments, one for their main tree, and then one for Duke and Lily's tree, because of course, Thor made me. And so the one that I stitched for, like officially, the ornament that I stitched for Drew, it is this gorgeous snowflake, and it is from Mary Corbett's website, Needle and Thread. And it's called The Mother of All Snowflakes. And so my approach to stitching Drew's ornaments is that I wasn't going to go with any sort of called for colors whatsoever. I was going to pick my own colors. And so for the snowflake, I did 2 colors of DMC in these minty blue colors, and then a dark turquoise petite treasure braid, and then I attached some beads. And the beads were actually leftover delicas and bugle beads from Frosty. I had some leftovers of one of the colors, and then the bugle beads, I had a few leftovers, and so I thought it would be kind of cool to incorporate Frosty into this very blue snowflake for Drew. And then the other thing that I stitched, the one that I did for Duke and Lily's tree, is a Santa Dachshund. And so I used none of the called for colors for that either. That I found on Etsy. The designer is Patterns Cross Stitch. I believe a Russian or Eastern European designer, because my PayPal was billed to a name in Cyrillic. So, and I went with none of the called for colors. I used, I actually used no DMC for that one either. I used Anchor Black, Petite Treasure Braid. Those 2 I used for the belts. The Santa sweater is in DMC. Totally forgot about that. But I went with a different color than was called for. It called for 666. I went with 321. I used Whisper on the scruffy bits of the Santa coat, and then the Dachshund himself is in a Classic Colorworks Caterpillar, I think. Anyway, and I stitched all that over one. So yeah, but I love how they turned out. I'm so pleased. Let me tell you guys, if you are somebody who doesn't finish frequently, shall we say, channeling Vana is not an easy task. Like, I struggled putting the ornaments together and finally finishing them. And I wanted to send them fully finished, so I struggled with that a little bit. Managed to get it done, and they turned out really spectacularly, but it was a struggle. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Vana can do it. Everybody else can do it. So can I. Right? I'm a capable adult human being. I can do things. It was a struggle. There was only one, moment where I was on the verge of a mental breakdown. But Danny saved me and we got through it and it was fine. Anyway, so sent those off. And at some point during all of this, you will have seen what they look like. I am also sending a little present for everybody at the Weasley Studios house. And that should be going out tomorrow. So, yay for Christmas stuff. Okay, so since we have talked about the stitchy kindness that I have received, let me go ahead and jump right into the WIP review. So when I spoke to you guys last time, I was trying to decide what to do with the last 2 days of November. And so I had contemplated perhaps starting work on my December WIPs early, and then I ultimately, you will know this, I made the decision to finish out Nano Stitch Mo. If you watched the vlog, then you know that I managed to complete Nano Stitch Mo, which is phenomenal and surprising to myself. And also, a testament to the fact that I will never do that again. Not like that. The other thing that came out of that is that I found myself really disappointed, not loving, sort of fallen out of love with this project. And I talked about it in the vlog that I might UFO it, and I have since decided that I am going to UFO it, and I might restart it some other time. But I'm just not in love with the process of it, and so that's a good enough sign for me. So let me go ahead and show you that. It is Shades of Wine by Northern Expressions Needlework. And I know it is a beautiful design. I just don't like the choices that I made for it. So I decided to stitch it on 40 count because, number one, that's the recommended count. And it also meant that I had to buy only half of the silks. If you stitch it on 32 or 28 count, 2 over, then you need twice as much silk as you do for 1 over 2 on 40 count. But I don't love the way it looks. I don't love the way it's turning out. And I started this in 2015, I think. Maybe 2016. No, I think I started this in 2015. Anyway, and this is as far as I've gotten, and I have no desire to work on it, ever. Like, it never calls to me. And so that is just a really great sign. So I'm just going to scrap this, and I'm going to start over at some other point on different fabric. So there's that. So then, and so I can repurpose these silks for other things. I actually think I need one of these for Give Thanks, so that's kind of cool. Not Give Thanks, something else. Anyway, so that's that. Now I have to tell you guys that I am feeling a purge, I guess. I wish there was a better word for it. But I have been taking a very critical look at the projects that I have going, and both in knitting and stitching. And those things that I am not in love with, those things that I have zero desire or negative desire to work on, that's very telling to me, and so I'm not doing it. And so after I decided to UFO Shades of Wine, I made the decision to UFO something else. This one will get restarted. And it, like most everything, when I UFO something, it comes down to the fabric. So that is Dog Lessons for People. And this needle minder is just fantastic, don't you think? I hope you guys can hear him snoring. He crashed right there, and he's just snoring away. So, Dog Lessons for People by Lizzie Kate. I started it on, I want to say it's 32 count natural linen from Witchelt, and it's awful. I don't like this fabric at all. I don't like working on it. I don't care for the way it's turning out. I just don't love this. So I'm good with UFOing this and starting it over on a fabric that I do like a Zweigart or hand dyed or something, because I love the sentiment of Dog Lessons for People, but I'm not stitching it on this. I'm not gonna not enjoy the process for a project that I'm not gonna be in love with the finished result. Like, this is a no-brainer. On top of the fact that I made a big boo-boo and I should have washed this fabric before I started stitching, because I was using hand-dyed threads and I can't wash it now, and so it's gonna be like this forever. I mean, ironing it out might help, but not enough. So here's another one down the drain. Another project that I started, but I just don't love it. So why bother, right? But that's it. Like, the purge has stopped, at least stitching wise, because everything else I have at least a little bit of a desire to work on them. I have a positive feeling about the rest of them. So there's that. Okay, so now let's get into the projects that I have worked on over the last 2 weeks. So November 30th, I finished up Nano Stitch Mo. Success, check, move on. December 1st, decided to finally get into my December projects, and I started with the one that was calling me the most. So this is Long Dog Samplers Opus 2, aka Maggie. And you will be seeing a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it. I am stitching this using DMC 924 and this gorgeous agate slice needle minder here. Better be an agate slice if I'm working on a long dog. And I have told you guys for months now that this was a 28 count antique white cashel linen from Zweigart. And I was wrong. This is not a 28 count antique white cashel linen from Zweigart. This is a 32 count linen in oyster by MCG Textiles. And I'll explain to you how I figured that out. So, first of all, here is as far as I got, and I stayed up here with the Quaker Jellyfish Rowboats top border and the alphabet, and so I think I had 2 of these done, 2 of these motif repeats, and so I did 4 more. I have 1 and then a half left, and then I finished out the A, the O, and then I think I started with the E, I want to say, and have just kind of worked my way across on the alphabet. And I think I went through, I want to say 7 or 8 lengths of DMC 924. I had to break into a new bobbin. I know that for sure. It eats up thread surprisingly quick. So let's talk about how I figured out that this was not 28 count cashel. I loaded this up on my frame, and the 28 count cashels from Zweigart, I get those at Hobby Lobby, and those are they always have the orange stripe at the top or the bottom. Somewhere there is the orange stripe, which designates that it is Zweigart linen. This does not have that at all. Then, the other thing about the 28 count cashel is that it frays like crazy on the sides, because when you get that prepackaged fabric from Hobby Lobby, it's not serged, except for at that point the selvage, but there's no serging on it, and so it falls apart after too much use. Well, this is from 2015, so there's no way that a 28 count linen from Zweigart in that prepackaged status is looking this good on the edges. There's just no way. I mean, there is some fraying because this is not serged either, but it would be so much worse. I'm really good to my fabrics. Like, I'm not like throwing it around or anything, and my big projects don't travel, and so, you know, there's no reason for it to be frayed much more than that. But the Zweigart linens, they just do. Then it just comes down to the fabric itself, like the feel of the fabric and the size of the stitches, go figure. But I was stitching on this time, and I noticed that the weave was pretty close together. And the 28 count linen from Zweigart, it's just got a more open sort of feel to it. It has a more open look. It's difficult to explain. And I must have worked on some plain 28 count cashel recently for that to be in my mind when I was working on this, to notice the difference. But yeah, so 32 count. And then I know it's not Zweigart 32 count because, number one, it doesn't feel like a Zweigart linen, and also because of the orange stripe thing. And it's totally within reason that I would have gotten the 32 count oyster linen from MCG Textiles back in 2015. Like, that is totally within the realm of possibility. So, there you have it, ladies and gents. I have been lying about the fabric forever. MCG Textiles, I often give them the designation of MCG equals makes crappy goods. This is not awful. I don't hate this. It's really stitching up nicely. I like the way that my stitches look on it. So I might be in the market for this linen some more. Unless things have gotten worse over the years, which is entirely possible. So, love that. Love the way it's turning out. That DMC 924 is such a gorgeous color. I love how it looks against the antique color of the oyster. Yeah, this is making me happy. I decided to, since I didn't start working on this until the 1st, I decided to give my first 2 projects 3 days apiece. Because I had shortened the time span. And so I gave this 3 days, and then my next project got 3 days. Otherwise, if I had stuck with the plan, my next project would have had 4, and this would have only had 2. And so I just decided to give this an extra day. Okay, my next project. I pulled out the Game of Thrones house banners by Clouds Factory. And this gorgeous raven medallion minder here. And you'll be seeing a preview here of what this looked like the last you saw it. I was part the way through the Stark banner when I set this up on my frame. And so I thought that I was going to be working on this for days. And so what I decided to do, since I wasn't looking forward to stitching all of that white, I said, all right, I'm going to set a goal. And then if I reach that goal, then I am going to put this project down and work on whatever I want until the next project. So I had 3 days to reach this goal. And the goal was just to finish the Stark banner. I had 3 days to finish the Stark banner. And so I did it that very first day, which is ridiculous. So this is on a 28 count cashel in Ale by Picture This Plus. And yeah, that went really fast. So I can talk about this in at a later date, but basically I don't flip to the back if I can avoid it, and that speeds up the process. And so what I was doing is I was preloading 3 needles, and I did this for Opus 2 actually. I preloaded 3 needles with enough thread, and for this one I did 2 strands of white and 1 strand of something else. And so I essentially rewarded myself for every strand of white, for every 2 strands of white that I did, then I got to do something else. And so that worked out really, really well. And I was able to finish up the banner, including the backstitch. I posted on Stitch Mania that backstitch, if let's see, if cross stitch was Hogwarts, then backstitch would be Transfiguration, because before I got the backstitch done on the direwolf, he looked like a bear. Like, he did. He looked like a bear. This gray stitch up here looked like the ear of the bear, but since I backstitched the ear on the direwolf, now it actually looks like direwolf. So that was kind of funny. Thank you for those who were amused by that as well. So, didn't hate that. It was really great. But because I finished it that day, I decided to go on and do whatever I wanted. And it could have been anything. I could have worked on Hade. I'm really itching to work on The Reader by Joan Elliott. But ultimately, what I decided to do was to work towards a finish. I had 2 days left in this particular rotation, and so I decided to work towards a finish. And so that finish is Snowflakes by Mill Hill. And so I'm not going to insert a preview or anything, I'll just tell you what I did, but it's done. There it is, all done. Let me bring it in closer. And so I had, the last you saw this, I had 1 length of blue stitched, and that was it. And so I stitched the rest of the blue and the white, and then did the beads and that gorgeous crystal there in the center. So that was the quick thing. I did that in 2 days. Yeah, it was good. There are some white beads and some clear beads and then some bugle beads in this one. And I actually lost my bead pack. The bead packet slipped into my chair or underneath my chair, or it went into the abyss somewhere. But fortunately, with the Mill Hill kits, they give you the item number on the chart, and they use Mill Hill beads, and it called for 00479. I happen to have 6 packets of 00479 because that's what's called for Under the Moonlight by Passion Rigmo. So, yeah, that was good. I was able to pull a few beads to be able to finish that. And so this was finish number 22 for the year, I think. Something like that. I don't think I've shared this on social media anywhere that I finished this. But it's just a little Mill Hill kit, so it's done. So that was that. Okay, so I started working on that on Tuesday. Not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. And as you guys may know, probably, because we're about a week and a half out, that Tuesday we got the news that Martina Rosenberg of Shadow Lane had passed away. Unexpectedly, and yeah, that was some hard news to take. I won't necessarily echo what everybody else has said, but it feels like a big loss. She had a very unique gift and a very unique, iconic style, and yeah, her passing is untimely, and my heart goes out to her family. I can't imagine what her daughter must be going through. Martina's husband passed away earlier this year, and then Manuela losing her mom this close to the holidays. It's just rough. On top of the fact that there are thousands of people across the globe who are mourning the loss of Martina. So, yeah, that was rough. And so here's the thing. On Wednesday, I was going to film, and I had already planned on bringing Frosty to show you. I had already planned on putting it up there so that you guys could have some stitching to look at while I'm talking. And the reason that I was bringing Frosty for this video, and I had this planned forever, is that, sorry Thor, is that it's the end of the year, and so on Instagram a lot of people are posting up their top 9 for the year. And so I did a test run of my top 9. And a lot of my beautiful pieces and beautiful finishes from this year made the list, but do you know who didn't? My Frosty Knot Garden. My favorite finish, probably of all of the things I have ever done, didn't make my top 9. And so I was gonna say, like, you guys, can you believe it? Frosty didn't make it. And so I had planned on filming, like I did for Elizabeth, a quick little 5-minute video where I zoomed in on some of the sparkle to share that off again, because it is one of my proudest moments of this year, is getting Frosty done. And from this view, it doesn't look very big, but it felt like such an accomplishment. So I had already planned on bringing Frosty. I had already planned on showing it to you. Martina's passing, it just reiterated the fact that I needed to bring that today. So the point of all of this is that I was close to finishing this that Tuesday. but I wasn't quite done yet. And so a lot of people at the hearing of Martina's passing loaded up their chatelaines and put a few stitches into them, just sending out good thoughts and prayers to Martina's family during this rough time, and to just think about Martina. And so I was going to do that, but all I had left to do on this was the sparkle. And we all know that Martina was notorious for using sparkle, both metallic threads and silk threads that have a little bit of extra sheen, and then all of the beads, all of the gorgeous beads and crystals that she used. And so I thought, I need to get this done, and then I'll pull out my chatelaine. And so I finished that Wednesday morning, pretty early Wednesday morning, and then I pulled out my chatelaine. And the one that I decided to work on is Autumn Fairy, and you'll be seeing a preview here of what this will look like finished. This is a non-traditional design. It's not the recognizable mandala. It is more of a band sampler kind of style. You'll also be seeing a preview of what this looked like when I started working on her. The last time I worked on her was for Sarah's birthday sale back in September, Stitchin' Mommy. And so I decided to spend some time with my fairy, and I got a good big chunk done. It's not done yet, not by a stretch, but I got a good dent. My fabric here is 32 count Belfast in Mellow by Picture This Plus. I posted on the Chatelaine support group that I had been working on this in memory of Martina, and I mentioned the fact that I sort of apologized to Martina through Facebook that I started this on a hand-dyed fabric, because she always said that she didn't care too much for the hand-dyed, since they seem to sort of take away from all of the hard work and the beautiful colors that she put into it, and so she felt like a hand-dyed fabric competed with her work, so to speak. So I was apologizing for using hand-dyed fabric. But as somebody said, this is mellow. Like, it's not overpowering. It's subtle, it's quiet, and it does the right thing. So it does what it needs to. So anyway, so like I said, I did quite a bit here. I did several of the colors in her skirt, most of the grass. Her skin is all but done. I talked about this last time, but parts of this, the skin is charted 1/1, and parts of it, it's charted 2/2. And that's kind of weird, but that's the way that Martina did it, and I had talked about ripping it out, but I'm going with it. I don't hate it. I don't hate the way it looks. It's weird. It's not how I would design things, but I don't hate it. So let's see. This arm is extending out and holding these grapes, and I love the way the grapes turned out. The grapes were stitched 1/1 using silks and DMC. Her arm is 2/2, but then her hand sort of holding the bunches of grapes is 1/1. And then I did the sash and some of the gorgeous colors in her skirt. I wanted to get to the metallics, but I couldn't. I ran out of time. And I had to move on because there were some other goals that I had set for December. This design uses a really weird blend. It uses a blend of 2 colors of Thread Gatherer Silken Colors. One of them is Meadowgrass, and the other is, oh, now I'm not sure that that's the right name. Meadow or Meadowgrass, something to that effect, and then Camouflage. So a dark green, and then this green that variegates into like skin tones. And so you can see it down here. Like, those two don't blend together. They're practically polar opposites. There are so many things about this design that are just so uncharacteristic. But that's the thing with Martina's design style, is that she had very interesting color ideas. And sometimes when you're stitching on a chatelaine, you just have to go, she must have done this for a reason, so I guess I have to go with it. Even if it feels weird. Even if it doesn't seem right. You just go with it. So, yeah, got a good little chunk done on the fairy, and next time I work on this, I will finish out that band and be able to move on to the mandala, which I'm so excited about, because there's a little mandala in this one. So, that is that. But, like I said, after 2 days, I had to move on because I've got goals, and surely Martina can appreciate having goals and working on a bunch of things at once. I mean, she always did. She always worked on a ton of things at once. The next project that I worked on was Rose Fairy. Working on that fairy sort of had me moseying on over to Rose Fairy. Rose Fairy was another project in this December 6th. It was actually not supposed to be the next one that I worked on, but I was in the mood. So, this is what she will look like finished. And gorgeous fairy door needle minder. And you'll be seeing a preview here of what she looked like the last you saw her. I was... let's see, where was I? I had some of the legs done and none of the greenery. So in this lighting you will be able to see it, but maybe barely just. So on this leg I had to do just the palest shade to finish out that leg. And then there's a little bit of the darkest shade down here in her foot that I haven't put in yet. So that leg is practically done. And then this leg over here, I got most of it done up until about her ankle is where I stopped working on the skin. And I was doing the skin 1/1. I got a terrible, terrible migraine on Saturday night. And yeah, that was not good. I was up several times during the night, just not okay. And so Sunday, I didn't stitch a whole lot. And I certainly wasn't doing 1/1 because my head was pounding even still. So I did some 2/2. This fabric, by the way, is 28 count Lugana in Confetti by Picture This Plus. And some of the 2/2 work, you can see some of the obvious things. I carried some of the greens sort of all over the place, focusing primarily down here. And then I did one of the flowers. And that flower is almost done, except for there's one ninja stitch and then beads that have to go in there. But I'm pleased with how it looks now, at least. So that's as far as I got. On Monday, I still wasn't feeling all that great. So I stitched the flower on Monday, and then I was like, you know what, that's good. That's good enough for me. So there is that. My goal that I had set for this was to finish the legs and then to do 2 of the flowers. And this one got 4 days. And I couldn't get it done. But I lost most of Sunday, like I said. So there's that. I also worked on this during Cassandra's 30th birthday party on Instagram Live. It was a blast. Nothing like going to a birthday party and not having to get dressed. Danny went to his buddy's house and we laughed and we talked about Magic Mike. And what else did we talk about? Our celebrity crushes. Chatelaine. We talked about a bunch of things. Anyway, it was a lot of fun hanging with Cassandra and McKenna. That was good times. So, put this away on Monday evening. Because Monday, during the day, I received a long-awaited package. This package in particular contained my fabric for Lady of the Flag. As you guys know, Bendy Stitchy Michelle and I were to start Lady of the Flag for a stitch along as of the 7th of December for Pearl Harbor Day. Now, fortunately, it worked out that Michelle and I decided to postpone our start date because she was waiting on fabric as well. So, Thursday rolls around, nothing. I check my mailbox anyway because sometimes, I mean, it's the holidays. Sometimes things slip through the cracks and the updates they don't happen. The scans don't happen. Something goes awry, inevitably. Wasn't in my mailbox. Same thing Friday. Same thing Saturday. Same thing Sunday. Sometimes, especially during the holidays, my post office, they will do some Sunday deliveries just to try to keep up with the volume. It's rare, and it probably won't start happening until this week and next week. But I checked anyway. Monday, it was finally delivered. And my tracking never updated to show me that it was going to be delivered. It never did. Now, of course, I have the notification that it was delivered, but that was after the fact. Anyway, long story short, Michelle's fabric also arrived on Monday, and we decided to start this past Tuesday the 12th. And Tuesday the 12th of December, is an auspicious day in American history in and of itself. I looked it up because I had to. I really loved that we had planned on starting on the 7th because of the relation to Pearl Harbor Day. Obviously, Pearl Harbor has some extra significance for Michelle since she lived in Hawaii for so long. But I loved the significance of this very American design with an important day in American history. So we switched to the 12th, and I was like, all right, I gotta make this connection again. So there's a website called onthisday.com, and essentially it gives you a list of historically significant events for every day of the calendar. So in theory, I imagine that every single day throughout history, every single day of the calendar has some sort of significance to American history. But there's a lot that has happened on December the 12th in our history. So, let's see. Pennsylvania became the second state to ratify the U.S. Constitution on December the 12th, 1787. On December 12th, 1800, which sort of makes this relevant to me, Washington, D.C. was declared the United States capital on December 12th, 1800. December 12th, 1862, I think, was the Battle of Dumfries, which is in Northern Virginia, and eventually sort of reached down here into Fredericksburg a little bit. My backyard is the Battle of Chancellorsville, which is incredibly important to Civil War historians. Minor segue here, but Stonewall Jackson was shot like 5 miles that way, which eventually led to his passing. And a lot of people around here would attribute that to the reason that the Confederacy lost the Civil War. Let's see. There was another one. December 12th, 1961. I didn't write these down, and so I don't have this committed to memory. But that was the day that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and roughly 700 protesters were arrested in Georgia following a protest. And then after he was released, soon thereafter, he gave the I Have a Dream speech, and some might say that the failure of the Georgia protest led to the success of the I Have a Dream speech protest. it just felt really good to finally start Lady of the Flag and to have some American history relevance. And so I did. And this is what I'm obsessed with currently. So let me show you the fabric real quick. Fabric is 32 count Belfast in vintage Blue Whisper. And so it's a lot like vintage Country Mocha, it's just in blue. Now, here's something funny. I decided to get a full fat half of fabric because my thought was to do this on 28 count so that I could get the Mill Hill beads to fit and to sit nicely. For those paying attention at home, you will know that I just called this 32 count Belfast. So apparently I thought that I ordered 28 count, but I actually got 32 count. She fits just fine on a fat quarter of 32 count linen. Just fine. She is very tall, but it still leaves 3 inches or just under 3 inches on the top and bottom margin. Plenty for framing. I could have just wasted all of this fabric. I could have just stuck her right in the middle of a fat half and had like 8 inches of border on either side, on every side. But I wanted to put her on my smaller Millennium. And since she's only 10 inches wide, I could still have roughly 4 inches of margin on each side and still fit her on my smaller. So I was like, yes, please. So that's what I did. I cut it, and she's on my smaller Millennium. So here we are. And I'm going to put this behind it because this vintage Blue Whisper is kind of see-through. Oh, love that. Love the way it's turning out. So I obviously started in the top left. Top left? I'm directionally challenged right now. Yes, top left. And I started with the flag because I wanted to stitch on some blue on Tuesday, December the 12th. It felt appropriate. So yeah, oh, so beautiful. I'm so obsessed with this. Okay, so I went ahead and printed out a cover page because I just needed a reference, and since the copy of the design that was so very generously lent to me, I get a little like emotional when I think about it, like extraordinary. It didn't have the cover page, and even if it did, I would still print this out because I'm like really, really careful with this thing. I told Danny, I said, if anything happens to this, we're out $500 because we're just going to have to buy that thing on eBay to replace it because, so I was like, don't mess with this thing. Anyway, so my needle minders, this gorgeous woodcut of the American flag, and then a Christmas fox, because if you don't know why Christmas fox, then I can't explain it to you. So yeah. So this is the reason I didn't film yesterday. I am obsessed. I can't stop. It's just, oh, it's so good. So good. Yep, I'm a fan. So I will continue to work on this. And I'm kind of just working on it for as long as I really want to. I'm not scheduling this at all. Like, I'm not saying, okay, I've only got 3 days to work on this, so I better get as much done as possible. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to keep working on it until I don't feel like it. Okay, so this morning I got up and I said, all right, I have to film. I have to. I've got to film today because if I don't do it today, then I won't. And I'm not trying to get so far behind anymore. So I need to come up with a different plan. And so I have decided that I'm going to work on Lady of the Flag this evening. In the meantime, during the day, at least today and if not tomorrow, I am putting my December 6th on hold momentarily because I want to finish things. I started this year with 69 WIPs, and as of right now I have 71. I have another start planned for next Thursday, and I've talked about this 1,000 times, and that is the Snow Castle by Heaven and Earth Designs. But I am so close to 69 again that I kind of just want to make the push to finish some things so that I can get down to at least 69, if not 68. So the December 6th are on hold because what I have left still have a ton of work left to be done, and I just want to finish stuff. I just want to get stuff done. I just have such a finish or purge or whatever you want to call it kind of a mindset right now. And so I'm just going to run with it. So today, this morning, I pulled out a project that is close to done, or close-ish to done. And it has the benefit of I'm not obsessed with it, and so like I could put it down and come film today. So that is my next Mill Hill ornament, and I started this for Mania 17. This is the I Love Charmed Ornaments collection, and it's love, so I love love. And for these Mill Hills, I really like the tiny minders, and so this one is I Heart Coffee. So there's that, and again, I'm not going to insert what this looked like last time, but I will just tell you what I have done so far. So I had some of the cream color done pretty much like that, the outline of the cream up to that point. And so this morning I finished out the cream. I'm all done with that color. And then I started in on the white, and the white is the primary color used for the background of this, which you can see there. The background is pretty much white and cream. And so, like, I've got another couple hours work, but it's a little bitty. It's gonna be a quick finish. So once I get the white done, then I'm pretty much in the home stretch at that point. There's not a whole lot of beads in this one. There's only 4 colors of beads. There's 2 other colors of thread, but they're used as more accent colors in the word and then the hearts all around. So that will be another quick finish. This also has the added benefit of I am 5 for 5 videos now with a finish in every single video. That's pretty cool. And I'm going to keep that train rolling. So I expect this finish, barring any, surprises, to be a finish next week. So this will be the next one. So that helps us segue into plans a little bit. So like I said, December 6th are on hold, and I am starting that Hay next Thursday. I gotta finish kitting it up, but practically there. So I have to do 3 projects to get down to 69 by the end of the year, including this new start. So the other 2. I've mentioned this before. This is Dreamcatcher by Tiny Modernist. This popped up in my Nano Stitchmo vlog, and I mentioned it, I want to say last video. So this is on 32 Count Belfast in Winterbrook by Under the Sea Fabrics, and here's where I'm starting from. And looking at this, I mean, it looks like I've got a lot to do, but there's not a lot to begin with. So I've got some feathers to do, some pretty big feathers, and the back stitch, and then the beads. You can see those beads there. Gigantic. Size 6, basically pebble beads. So this will take a couple days. It's not going to be like a one day to finish kind of thing. So there's that. The next one is also going to take a couple days. And I have to restart it also. So this is Taurus by Satsuma Street, that's right. And so this is in her series this year that she did of the Zodiac. I think she only has one left, and then she's all done. But this is, of course, mine. And I started this on 32 Count Belfast in Silver Moon, I think. I think that's what this is. But I am going to restart it because I want to move that down a little bit. I think it's up a little too high. That I started in the center, and so I've got a long ways to go to get to the top here, and I just kind of want to be able to use my Millennium frame, so I need to move this down. So that's not a problem. I will do that. So that is it for the plans. Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm going to do my 2018 plans in a separate video, so stay tuned for that. I've got some really good plans coming. Okay, so let's move on to the purchases. I have just a few things here. First of all, along with the fabric for Lady of the Flag, I also ordered the Krennics. So there they are. And so 2 of the 002 High Lusters, and then 1 of 025. So just some simple Krennics. I did not order the beads, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because since I got the 32 count linen, I think that I'm going to convert to the Delicas for this design, because they will fit much better on the 32 count linen, especially since it's a printed fabric. It's not a dyed fabric, so it hasn't undergone that shrinking process that dyed fabrics do. And I just like Delica beads, so might as well. And so I will convert those and order those when I need them. I also, because no fabric should travel alone, I didn't get a fabric, but I got another chart. And this is from the Cottage Garden Samplings series of the Cottage My Garden Journal. And this is sort of my backup plan. My New Year, New Start, I'm hoping will be Poison Garden by Chatelaine, but I don't know if that's the case. It's kind of all up to Santa at this point. If Poison Garden is not what I'm starting, then I will start this on January 1st. Because I would really like to do this whole series. I really love this series. I love the stitching of them, and so this one is next. This one is different than the other 2 that I have started or finished. And it's not coming out. There it goes. This one is, I'm just checking here. Yeah, it is entirely in hand-dyed threads. The other ones that I have, started or finished, have a mix of hand-dyed threads and DMCs, but this one is all hand-dyeds. And I think I only have 1 of them. So I will have to procure those. But I love this. I love the teeny tiny little reindeer and the cardinals and the little poinsettias and the snowdrops. And I already have a 9x13 cut of the platinum linen, so I would be practically good to go. Just need to either substitute threads or get the called for. So there is that. And if I do start Poison Garden, then I'll start that at some other point. I'm not in a big hurry to get on this series. Okay. Next is my last needle minder order for a very long time. Like, I'm not hunting needle minders right now, because I got a lot here. And what sparked this is Kate from No Name Needle Minders back in September tagged me in a post in her group and said, "Hey Jess, have you seen these? I just got these in." Are you kidding me right now? Hokey Minders. What even? So she got these specifically for me. The irony of this is that the day that she tagged me in that, Virginia Tech went through like a total logo change. So it doesn't necessarily look like this anymore. It's rounded. There's like a whole thought process over why they went through this branding change for the first time in years. But it happened that day. So she said that she got these specifically for me, and of course, if anybody else wants them, and so I had to order one. I had to order basically a third of the sheet, and so there are 4 of them, and then I'll show you the last one here in a second. I also got this pumpkin and this snowflake. This snowflake is going on Snow Castle. Thought that was pretty and perfect. And then, yeah, we'll go with that one next. So there's that last VT, and then I had to get a Pinhead and a Hannibal, because my horror movie alphabet needs Pinhead. Need a Pinhead. And then she sent along this cute little one, and then this one is a gift from a fellow Stitcher who enjoys your videos. I thought that was really sweet. So whoever you are, anonymous person, thank you so much. They sent this super cute little bulldog, which I swear looks just like Thor when he was a baby. There are some little differences, but he even has the little spot on the top of his head, which is a bulldog thing. A lot of bulldogs have this just spot right here. Thor's tail used to stick out, not that much, but it used to stick out quite a bit. Love, love, love. And then the last one, because I was ordering the VTs, I was like, well, I might as well just go hog wild, and so I went hog wild, and I got some more of the bigger ones. Let's see, we'll start over here with the Plague Doctor, because everybody's got that Plague Doctor obsession right now. This sort of arty looking mermaid, this autumnal looking one, which I don't remember picking, but I guess I did. It was a while ago. And then this kooky looking Alice. And this kooky looking Alice, with an extraordinarily long neck, is definitely going on Alice in a Dolly Dream, because it looks like a Dolly Alice. Like, just extraordinary proportions, and, yeah. So that's where that's going. I needed an Alice to go for that, So there we have it. Those are my minders that I got. Okay. Next, I got Fabrics of the Month from both Hand Dyed by Stephanie and from Under the Sea. So let's start with Hand Dyed by Stephanie. For November, Stephanie picked 4 colors from her current line of fabrics, and then you got a random one. And so you weren't sure which one you were going to open, and I liked all of them, but I'm so glad I got this one. So this is Gingerbread, and my subscription is 32 count Belfast linen, fat quarter, and it is a light gingerbread. I would probably be more inclined to call it like a pumpkin. So it's like a palish orangey brown with some modeling of sort of green thrown in. But I love that. It's so autumny, and yeah, that's just really pretty. So love that. And then this one here I just got the other day, so it was like really cool. This is Aztec by Under the Sea Fabrics. Again, 32 count Belfast fat quarter. And this is more gingerbread, I think. It's not showing up as red as it is. It's definitely got a more reddy, rusty kind of brown. It doesn't look super red in the camera. This is, again, like just so gorgeous. I love the even dye on this one. Yeah, that turned out really, really gorgeous. So yay! So those are my fabrics. And then I got 2 charts. And I got these because Martina passed away. I made the decision to get 1 chart that evening, in part because I was concerned that we might have some issues with the website just going away. And in part because I thought that that it would be good to send a little bit of extra money to the family. Inevitably, they will have access to that, and so if we can help a little bit with funeral costs and whatnot, happy to do so. So, so the chart that I bought, I had a really hard time picking just one, but I went with this one. It's the mushroom and the fern mandala. And I have loved this one forever, but I never bought the chart for some silly reason. So I made sure to do that. And so you'll be seeing a preview here of what this will look like. Finished. Lindy Stitches is currently working on it. There are 2 other stitchers on FlossTube working on this, I think. Yeah, there's 2 others that are working on this currently. It's absolutely stunning. There is a stitcher on the Shadowline support group that was working on it about this time last year, and it just takes my breath away. It's so beautiful. So yeah, have that. And now it seems like there may very likely be the website up for, and who knows how long, but it seems like we may still be able to buy these designs for years to come. It's not just going to disappear. These designs are not going to suddenly become obsolete. So that's good, because there are hundreds more, and I did not have hundreds more budget. And then a couple days later, I decided to purchase another one because there was some rumblings about maybe doing a sale for this, and it is the 20 years designing. So 2017, Martina had been designing for 20 years. And so she put out this sort of celebration piece, this anniversary piece, which is just heartbreaking. I mean, we should have made it to 30, 40 years of extraordinary artwork from Martina. But this is a really great commemorative piece. It's different. It's not everybody's style. It's not a mandala. There is the icon of Martina and of Shadowline Designs in the center, and then there is it Latin, I think? And it says something about how money never lasts, but love will, something to that effect. And then there are these specialty stitch bands all the way around it. It's a little bit of a different style, but I like the sentiment of it, and so I grabbed that as well. And so you will have seen a preview of what that will look like finished as well. I don't have any intentions of starting it, along with the sal or anything like that, but on the off chance that I did, I wanted to have it. So that's that. That's it for purchases. Heaven and Earth Designs had a spur of the moment 50% off sale, and I bought nothing. The thing right now is that I'm not feeling the need to buy anything right now. I think I said this to Shannon the other day. It must be that new start feeling. I just started Lady of the Flag, and I haven't had a new start since October. It must be that. But like, I'm really happy with my stash right now. I'm really happy with my projects right now. I did UFO those 2 projects, but like everything else, I'm just good. Like, I'm in a really good place. If I can start Poison Garden on January 1st. But we'll see what happens. Regardless, I've got some beautiful things to work on for years and years and years and lifetimes to come. So there is that. And that is all I have for the stitching. If you are more fiber inclined, then stick around. I have a little bit of knitting to show you. Not a whole lot, but I do have one pretty fab finish. And so I'm really excited about it. So let's go ahead and get into that. And we'll just go ahead and start with the finish. I was trying to finish this earlier this year, and I believe I brought it on the video and showed you guys what I had done and why I couldn't finish it, and then I mentioned that I needed another skein. Well, Eat Sleep Knit has an annual Black Friday sale, and they always announce it last minute. It's like 4 hours before it's supposed to start. But I was waiting for that. So they do, it's a randomized Black Friday sale. Basically, you order something and your discount is applied at checkout, and it's random. It can be anywhere from 10% to 100%. Yeah, 100%. Everybody gets the discount, so you get 10% off no matter what. It's just a matter of whether you get 10, 15, 20, etc. So this was my 4th year, and it was my 4th year getting 10%. But I only ordered one skein, and that was just exactly the skein that I needed to finish this shawl. So I did. So I haven't blocked it yet because I haven't had the right opportunity to. I was going to block it, I finished it on Monday. I was going to block it on Tuesday so that if I filmed yesterday, I would have had it blocked and ready, but it wasn't sunny enough on Tuesday, and it never would have dried. And then, obviously, I wasn't going to block it yesterday because I thought I was going to film yesterday. So here we are. It's still not blocked. But I'll block it, and then I'll show it to you once it is blocked out. It's going to grow so much when it blocks. I can't wait. It's already huge. I think it's already a 60-inch wingspan, or close to. And it's just gonna explode. It's gonna be so big. So, this is the Dockside shawl. It was a mystery knit along starting summer of last year, 2016. And the designer is Alicia Plummer. And so it's kind of like a sampler a little bit. So we have this stockinette section here, and then we move on into an eyelet section. And then we have this drop stitch, sort of long, elongated stitch section here. So you see those 2 bands. Then there's a section of ribbing, 2x2 rib, which is rude, but 2x2 ribbing when you knit English, English style, and, you know, north of 200 stitches at that point, like, it was a task. And then it basically repeated. So then we had another eyelet section, and then another drop stitch section. It was only supposed to be 1 band of the drop stitches, but because of my challenges, I did 2. And then another ribbing section and bind off. So I took some creative liberties. Where I was when I stopped was at the end of this stockinette section here. So just before we led into the ribbing. And so I decided to take some creative liberties, and I recently learned how to cable without a cable needle, and it has changed my life. That's exaggerating it a little bit, but I just wanted to include some cables because I'm all about the cabling right now. So I did some cable I did some directional cables. So here they lean this way, and here they lean, see if you can see that, this way. So at the half mark, basically, they changed directions. And so every other knit rib I cabled. Does that make sense? And the only thing, I did just a, I can't ever remember the right term, but I just twisted 2 stitches. So it was a cable 2, I guess. Or maybe it was just cable 1. I don't know. I don't know the right term. But it's just 2 stitches that I switched places to create that cable. My plan was to knit the entire skein because I was just going to use up as much as possible. But I was done. I did, this section is only supposed to be 8 rows. The ribbing section is supposed to be 8 rows per the pattern, and I did 12. So I had already done extra, and I was just done. The other thing that I changed is the bind off was supposed to be in pattern, and I decided to do 2 knit rows to create a garter stitch edge, and then I just bound off just a traditional bind off, knit 2, slip, knit another, slip, like that. So the edging is a little bit different. So basically, I changed everything from here down. Like, not much. And I ended up using about 60% of that second skein, so not nothing. But I love it. It's going to be so big because it's in worsted. Did I talk about the yarn? I don't think so. Malarigo Rios, which is a worsted 100% superwash base. So soft. And the colorway is Sandbank. I did not alternate, and I am not mad about it. I like the way it turned out. So yeah, I need to get this blocked so that I can wear it like a schlanket. It's schlanket. I mean, it's a blanket. I wrapped Thor up in it, and he likes to be warm, and so he just laid there, and he looked happy as can be. Should have taken a picture. Anyway, yeah. Oh, it's so squishy too. I like to fold it up. I hope that this gets a lot of wear because I did a lot. But because it's triangle shaped, I think I'll be more inclined to wear it. Having knit all of these shawls now, I'm learning what style I'm more likely to wear. I don't wear the half pies. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, it's so squishy. So huge thing to get off the needles. So 4 skeins, that's what, 800 yards of worsted here, thereabouts. No, not quite. About 700 yards. Love. So much love. And I did something unprecedented with this. I not only bound off, but then immediately after binding off, I started weaving in ends. That's uncanny. Like, I don't do that, but I did. I wove in ends immediately after bind off. So, yay. Okay, need to block that. All right, next, I'm just going to talk about some recent purchases. These 2 purchases have plans, but I'll talk about that, like I said, in a separate 2018 planning video. So, the first one is this beautiful thing. This is Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock. It's a Canadian dyer, and the colorway is West Wind, 80% merino, 20% nylon. My first pair of socks that I attempted and failed were also in Tough Love Sock. So if that's not a hint, I don't know what is. So that's gorgeous. And they've changed their labels, I just realized. They now do the belly bands. That's cool. And then this gorgeousness, I placed an order with Willy Wonka Fibers, which the dyer behind Willy Wonka Fibers is our very own Ann P. And so I got this gorgeousness. And it came with this beautiful little stitch marker. Let's see. This is from Ann Tudor LLC. It is a lampwork glass stitch marker, and it's this gorgeous little leaf. Can you see that? So cute. So this is on her Rhiannon sock base, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. It's a very traditional sock blend, and if that's not a hint, I don't know what is. This is in the Which Way colorway, and if you watch Anne, then I think that you will join me in knowing where she got the inspiration behind this colorway. If not, then I encourage you to look up Which Way on Heaven and Earth Designs. It's a Molly Harrison painting, and it's so beautiful. So, just gorgeous. Oranges and yellows, purples, greens, grays. This is fun. Some little speckles. Oh my god, I love this. Anne, you're so good. So good. So stay tuned for my 2018 plans so you can see what this gorgeousness is going to be. I'm so excited for that. I have some other knitting plans. I might be casting on something on Christmas Eve because that's sort of like a knitter tradition, Christmas Eve cast on. But we'll see what happens. Christmas travel plans are kind of and I'll save that for the 2018 video, 2018 plans video. I was going to talk about what I'm doing for the first Willy Wonka Palooza challenge, but I'll save that. But I've got my plan. So excited. So that is everything, you guys. I hope I didn't miss anything. I don't think so. I just want to take a quick second to thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for your continued support and your love. Thank you for all of your beautiful, wonderful comments. If I don't respond to your comment, you know that I have read it because I leave the heart, just to let you know that I read it and that I appreciate your words. Comments are invaluable to me, just absolutely invaluable. So thank you. And I hope that everybody is enjoying their holiday season, regardless of the holiday that you celebrate. I hope that everything is well with you. I will see you guys next week, probably on Wednesday because Danny's holiday vacation begins on Thursday, and so I better do this on Wednesday. And so thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Happy stitching. Be kind. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi, I'm a troublemaker. Hi, I'm a troublemaker. You guys love to watch me putz around on my phone so much that I make it sing-song.